So the latest news out of the land of God's chosen people, aka also known as the world's biggest terrorists, barbarians, um, evildoers, corruptors, murderers, also known as Israel. If you have, if you haven't guessed already, we call it occupied Palestine. Their terrorist defense minister, Gallant, went on Israeli national TV and said immediately, no more food, no more water, no more fuel, and no more electricity for Gaza. Yeah, they basically just want to starve 2 million people to death. They didn't forget. No, they don't forget that Gaza has hospitals with babies in incubators. They have children who need to eat and drink. They have elderly who need food and electricity. They have sick people in Gaza. So no, they don't care. Why would they care? They don't think much of the Palestinians anyway. And this is just a continuation of the slow ethnic cleansing campaign that's been going on in occupied Palestine for the last 75 years, ever since they committed the genocide against the Palestinians when they stole Palestine in 1948. We are dealing with the world's most ruthless criminals. They kill with absolutely total impunity. They commit the most heinous crimes. They do whatever they want to the Palestinians. They torture, imprison, kill, mock, dehumanize, while the Western world just watches and just, turns their head the other way. It is because the Western world is completely controlled by the Israeli Zionists. It's a proxy control, obviously. Israel totally controls the people who control the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, and a couple of other Western nations. Absolute control, 100%. These are the people today who are crying crocodile tears, over what happened in Gaza a couple of days ago. A resistance operation, basically, that showed the Israeli army that it ain't shit, basically. The unbeatable Israeli army with the latest technology and the best weapons that they get free from the US. A couple of several dozen freedom fighters from Palestine, from occupied Palestine, showed the Israeli army exactly what it's worth. Zero, nothing. The Israeli army got a nice slap in the face and ate a nice pile of shit a couple of days ago. And that's what the Israelis can't get over, basically, is that the whole image of this Israel never again bullshit has been shattered. Israel is nothing. Israel is no more than a paper tiger. That's all it is. The Zionists scare US politicians and Western politicians into doing their dirty deeds for them. That's all they do. They blackmail, they extort, they arm twist. I'm sure they have files on probably every politician out there, every corrupt politician out there. And if, they don't fall in line and do as they're told by Israel, they get exposed, and they basically, they try to starve them to death. That's how they control most of the US Congress today. That's how they control most of Western Europe today. The people refuse the Zionist propaganda around the world. But unfortunately, it is these corrupt Western politicians who make laws, who make the rules, that affects us, you and I and everyone else out there. They control, the Zionists control from the top. That's what they do. They control the presidency of the US. Biden is an absolute dummy in the Zionists' pockets. He does exactly what they want. Just a couple of days ago, because of the attack, he wrote them a check for $8 billion just in emergency aid, and there's obviously a lot more to come out of our pockets. They completely control the State Department, which controls basically U.S. foreign policy throughout the world, but specifically in the Middle East. They control the central bank. They control the Fed, which controls the money supply to the whole world. They control food companies. They control what you and I eat. They control beverage companies, what you and I drink. They control pharmaceutical companies, the medicines you and I take. They control the healthcare system. They control, what else can they control? They control everything. This is their plan. This is their Zionist Talmudic plan to control the whole world. And so far they've made very good gains. They control politicians, they control trade, they control money, they control everything. The only thing is, one thing that you need to know is that these bastards who are crying crocodile tears because of the resistance operation in occupied Palestine a couple of days ago have a very shameful past that they like people to forget. It wasn't the Palestinians who ferried all the African slaves out of Africa to come to America and work as slaves, to be oppressed for decades upon decades, and to be misused and mistreated and murdered by their white slave masters. It wasn't the Palestinians who brought the ships over from Africa. It was the Talmudic Jews who carried the slaves from Africa to America to sell them. It was just all for money. It wasn't the Palestinians who did 9/11, and it wasn't the Saudis either. It was the Mossad and the CIA who sacrificed 3,000 American lives in order to start a big war in the Middle East and destroy basically the whole Middle East, which they did. They destroyed the most advanced countries in the Middle East at the time, Iraq, Libya, Lebanon, whatever they want to destroy, but they wreaked havoc basically and destroyed the Middle East. And they keep doing it every once in a while to make sure that the Middle East doesn't catch its breath. The Liberty, they didn't think much of the American sailors when they tried to sink the Liberty, but they only got to kill 100 sailors and injure a couple of hundred more when they waged their 6-day 1967 war against all the Arab neighbors. The same people that got the 8 billion and are getting aid from all around the world today are the world's biggest criminals and terrorists and thieves and deceivers, but they like to play victim all the time. They love to play victim so that the money supply keeps rolling in. The weapons keep coming in from Germany and the US to keep killing Palestinians and keep displacing Palestinians and keep stealing more and more Palestinian land. That's what they want. They're professional actors. They play the victim really well. And by the way, it was Dr. Finkelstein himself who said that the number in Germany was nowhere near 6 million. It was in their hundreds of thousands. Whatever it is, hundreds of thousands, million too, is still a heinous crime, but it was nowhere near 6 million. But they do play the victim really, really well. So no, we Palestinians are not terrorists. We are freedom fighters. You stole our homeland. We are trying to free our homeland from you, Ukrainian and Polish thieves who came out of Europe. You massacred our people. You stole our homeland, and you make us look like terrorists while you are the world's biggest thieves and terrorists. You are criminals. You have no soul. Your hearts are full of hatred and contempt for humanity. You think you are the best, and you think everybody else is just garbage, animals that are there for your pleasure to do with whatever you please. There is no Israel. There is no God's chosen land. It's all just a big lie. Israel will disappear. Palestine will come back, and Palestine will be free.